श्रीचैतन्य स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशातदेशतारिणी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते श्रीवार हाँ? श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दैताय कृपाब्धे कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेम गौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्ते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणी रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत हारिणी नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्ते विप्रलंब रसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भाव भूमिष्ठ निर्दिष्ट सज्जना प्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्ण भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते जयतां सरतोपंगो महमंद मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्बुजो राधा मदन मोहन दिव्यतृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमात् श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव पृष्ठलाभिः स्वयमानस्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवट तटस्थित कर्शनवेणु सुनिर्गोपी गोपीनाथाय श्रीस्तुना कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा I seek your blessings so that I can do this service properly. So today we are studying chapter 14 entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 1. Sutuvacha Samastite Dvarkayam Jishno Bandhur ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णश्च विचेष्टितम् Sri Suta Goswami said, Arjuna went to Dwarka to see Lord Sri Krishna and other friends and also to learn from the Lord of his next activities. Read the purport.
As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord descended on earth for the protection of the faithful and the annihilation of the impious. So after the battle of Kurukshetra and establishment of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the mission of the Lord was complete. And the Pandavas, especially Sri Arjuna, were eternal companions of the Lord. And therefore, Arjuna went to Dwaraka to hear from the Lord of his next program of work.
So the link is Nada has asked Yudhishthir to wait till disappearance of Lord. So the Goswami describes the reaction of Pandavas at disappearance of Lord. Text 1. Arjuna went to Dwarka for two reasons. One is to see the Lord and other friends, and also to hear about his next program of work. Contents of this chapter are text number 2 to 10. Maharaj Yudhishthir suspects the disappearance of Krishna for following reasons. 11 to 20. There are bad omens experienced by Yudhishthir. Text 20 to 24. Yudhishthir's suspects are supplemented by Arjuna's appearance. And 25 to 33. Maharaj Yudhishthir makes indirect inquiries to Arjuna. 34 to 38, Yudhishthir directly inquires and glorifies about Krishna and his influences. 39 to 43, Yudhishthir inquires about Arjuna's activities and personal welfare. And 44, Maharaj Yudhishthir finally asks directly about disappearance of Lord. So devotees don't relish the disappearance of Lord. We mostly we discuss about the appearance of Lord. So here Yudhishthir Maharaj was suspecting the disappearance of Lord, but he didn't directly inquire about it. So this is the summary of this chapter. Text number 2. Vyatita katishinmasat tada nyaya tatorjuna tadarsha ghora rupani nipentani kurudvaha. A few months passed and Arjuna did not return. Maharaj Yudhishthir then began to observe some inauspicious omens, which were fearful to themselves. Did
Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ad infinitum, more powerful than the most powerful sun of our experience. Millions and billions of suns are created by him and annihilated by him within his one breathing period. In the material world, the sun is considered to be the source of all productivity and material energy, and only due to the sun can we have the necessities of life. Therefore, during the personal presence of the Lord on the earth, all paraphernalia for our peace and prosperity, especially religion and knowledge, were in full display because of the Lord's presence, just as there is a full flood of light in the presence of the glowing sun. Maharaj Yudhishthir observed some discrepancies in his kingdom and therefore has become very anxious about Arjuna, who was long absent, and there was also no news about Dwaraka's well being. He suspected the disappearance of Lord Krishna, otherwise, there would have been no possibility of fearful omens.
So in Garud Puran, there are many sets of omens are given, positive and negative. So by that observation, a person can understand and make out that what is happening, which moment is good, which moment is bad, and accordingly one can take some precaution. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj was well versed with all this, sciences. So he could understand the bad omens and he could analyze that Lord might have disappeared. Yes.
तो ये जस्ट आपने गरुड़ पुराण पढ़ा है तो मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ। हमारे जो हम जब बड़े होते हैं तो दो ओमन्स बेसिकली हमने सीखे हैं। एक तो आग का फड़कना, तो क्या ये गरुड़ पुराण में मेंशन्ड है, ये शास्त्रिक है या ये मन गढ़ंत है? आग का फड़कना, या लेफ्ट साइड इज बैड फॉर बॉयज एंड राइट साइड इज गुड एंड फॉर वुमेन लेफ्ट इज गुड, वो आग का फड़कना ये सब। दूसरा एक बिल्ली क्रॉस करना, हम ये दो ओमन्स देख के बड़े हुए हैं, सुनते हैं। पैर का वो कुछ
पैर
वो,
का क्या? पैर पे खुजली होना।
हाँ ये हम दो ओमन्स सुन के बड़े हुए हैं।
ओके।
तो ये सही है, शास्त्र में कोई मेंशन है गुरु पुराण में ऐसा या नहीं?
My memory is weak actually. I I read everything, but still I forgot. And it here there even it is mentioned when to cut hairs, when to cut nails, and after yawning, what you should do. You have to clip. You have to snap your fingers when you yawn. Na, that time, and if you sneeze, you have to touch your right ear and remember the name of Lord. So like that, so many things are given. It's in Puranas everywhere. So if you read them and not follow, then you are in problem. Hmm. So sometimes ignorance is bliss. Huh? So for us, the bad woman is sleeping in japa, sleeping in holy activities, and all that we can take as a. So for serving Krishna, there is no bad one. You can. Lord never gets contaminated and all that. But still, we should follow some rituals, and we should not become too much scared also. They are so complicated that just negating negativity, time will get over actually. And then we are engaging in positive things. So as long as Krishna was there, Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't worry, with all even the calamities took place in their lives. They went to forest, Draupadi is getting disrobed, and all those things they faced so bravely because Krishna was there in their life. And now, when as soon as Lord leaves, he is feeling that everything is over. The same Arjuna who could fight with such a Maharathis single-handedly, his Gandhi bow is so powerful. When Yudhishthira asked him to keep on ground, he became so angry, and even he insulted his own brother. And that same Arjuna also lost the strength when Krishna left and got defeated by the coward, the people, and he could not protect the wives of Lord. So they feel there is no point in living in this world in Krishna's absence. So without Krishna, everything is a bad omen only. If you are not, there are all good omens are there, and people are doing sense gratification. So is it a good omen or bad omen? Bad omen. And there are all bad omens are there, and people are engaged in Harinam and chanting Hare Krishna or all that. So that is good omen. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took birth, it was bad omen time. It was there was eclipse was there, but all people were chanting Lord's name. So it was considered as the best time. So once Radhana Maharaj was telling, there one earthquake took place in this Khilari. So all devotees were chanting in Japa time. It was in the morning Japa time. Till the time earthquake was not there, everybody was like drowsing, sleeping, and all that. But as soon as earthquake started shaking the earth, everybody started loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then Maharaj told, this let this earthquake perpetually happen. Yeah? Because devotees are chanting the names of Lord. So it's like that. So why he's giving credit to all these bad omens? Because it is related to Krishna's disappearance. You know. So he was feeling so much separation from Krishna in his heart. Now all these things he is observing and he's thinking more about Lord, that he's there or not. That was the anxiety which he was having in his mind. So you can read and you get ecstasy actually when Puranas express so many things. We'll how to pass tool also. It's so complicated. You will forget the passing stool only if you read all that. You have to sit in such a direction. You have to dig some earth. You have to have this sand, that sand. You have to wash hand with this, that. It's like it such a great civilization. It is even passing stool has a celebration. Like it's a, like it is like so much in Western countries. They just wipe their back and move on. Pass tool anytime, like animals only. At least they use paper. But what is use of using paper? Tissue paper. So it's very shocking that what omens they will follow. Nothing each. That's why it is told in Shastras that one should not cross the ocean. Because after crossing ocean, everything is something surprising. But now we need not cross the ocean. You just come out of the womb, you will have all contamination. And Westerners also will get surprised when Indians try to first contaminate themselves. It will be with more enthusiasm and with more sincerity. They will contaminate themselves. New process. Okay. Did you read the purport or?
Read.
Read. कालस्य च गतिं रौद्रां विपर्यस्ततुर्धर्मिणा पापीयंसी नृणां वार्तां क्रोधलोभानुतात्मनाम्. He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful. And he saw that they were adopting foul means of livelihood.
When civilization is disconnected from the loving relation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, symptoms like changes of seasonal regulation, foul means of livelihood, greed, anger, and fraudulence becomes rampant. The change of seasonal regulations refer to one season's atmosphere becoming manifest in another season. For example, the rainy seasons being transferred to autumn, or the fructification of fruits and flowers from one season in another season. A godless man is invariably greedy, angry, and fraudulent. Such a man can earn his livelihood by any means, black or white. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, all the above symptoms were conspicuous by their absence. But Maharaj Yudhishthir was astonished to experience even a slight change in the godly atmosphere of his kingdom, and at once he suspected the disappearance of the Lord. All means of livelihood implies deviation from one's occupational duty. There are prescribed duties for everyone. such as the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. But anyone who deviates from his prescribed duty and declares another duty to be his own is following a foul and improper duty. A man becomes too greedy for wealth and power when he has no higher objective in life and when he thinks that this earthly life of a few years is all in all. Ignorance is the cause for all these anomalies in human society. To remove this ignorance, especially in this age of degradation, the powerful sun is there to distribute light in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam.
So in India, there are seasonal seasons are there. But in other countries, there are no seasons. They have only winter, no summer. And some places it doesn't rain only. They just live in desert throughout the year. So what bad omen Maharaj Yudhishthira was experiencing, that is normal thing now in Kali Yuga. You know, unseasonable, seasonal irregularities are there. And people are living with the foul means. Jijaprayam Vyavavrita Shadhyamishram to Saurudam Pitrumatru Surudbharatur Dampattinam Kalkanam. All ordinary transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating. Even between friends and in familial affairs, there was always misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, and sons, between well-wishers and between brothers, even between husband and wife. There was always strain and quarrel.
A conditioned living being is endowed with four principles of malpractice, namely errors, insanity, inability, and cheating. These are signs of imperfection. And out of the four, the propensity to cheat others is most prominent. And this cheating practice is there in the conditioned souls because the conditioned souls are primarily in the material world, imbued with an unnatural desire to lord it over the material world. A living being in his pure state is not conditioned by the laws because in his pure state he is conscious that a living being is eternally subservient to the Supreme Being. And thus it is always good for him to remain subservient instead of falsely trying to lord it over the property of the Supreme Lord. In the conditional state, the living being is not satisfied even if he actually becomes the lord of all that is service, which he never becomes, and therefore he becomes the victim of all kinds of cheating, even with his nearest and most intimate relations. In such an unsatisfactory state of affairs, there is no harmony, even between father and son or between husband and wife. But all these contending difficulties can be mitigated by one process, and that is the devotional service of the Lord. The world of hypocrisy can be checked only by counteraction through devotional service to the Lord and nothing else. Maharaj Yudhishthir, having observed the disparities, conjectured the disappearance of Lord from the earth.
So without keeping Krishna in center, no relationship can be maintained. And if you keep Krishna in center, all relations are eternally maintainable. That Vasudeva Kutumbakam principle can take place when Krishna is in center. If Krishna is not in center, people try their best, but no relation remains, permanent or reliable. People do anything as per their whims. And that's why there are so many complications are there in modern times. And government also is made by such a people who are not God conscious. So they also make such a rules which are very against to scriptural injunctions. Government says child marriage is not allowed, but child pregnancy is allowed. That is not a problem. You don't get married, but a boy can rape some girl, and they will say later on, he is that juvenile, and they will not punish him. So then what you are teaching people? And you give so much freedom to women, and you tell that adultery is allowed, and they say they are both are adults, they can do anything. It is allowed by government if they have consent. A woman has a husband, but she can have relation with some other man, and if this man goes in court and tells that my wife is having sex with other men, then the judge says if they are in consent, they can do whatever they want. Then what is the point in marrying? So marriage is used only for getting divorces and that monthly, what do they call it? Monthly they give portgi in English, what? Alimony? Huh? Remuneration. Every month they give, the husband has to give. Just like one boy got married, he had a good big job, big flat, everything. The girl married him with him, didn't allow to touch him also. She made him sleep in down in parking, ate everything from Zomato every day, 3 times. The house is filled with Zomato, packets. And later on, the boy got frustrated and he applied for divorce. And the wife asked that this flat belongs to me, and he has to give it to her. There is no, you cannot argue with that woman. So this is the system of current, judiciary and all that, where they have made such a laws which are not God conscious. On the name of having compassion for women, they are exploiting the woman only. And this is not getting, this is not realized by a woman. So these all people are exploiting them, and they are thinking they are liberated. So there is no liberation age. They are getting exploited. They want to go in every Air Force or other things, they want to go. So they admitted girls in fire brigade, but they are not able to hold that a hose pipe. The hose pipe, what pipe that? Hose pipe. So the building will get, it will burn out, it will turn into ashes if you admit them. They don't have that strength. They have, monthly periods. All those things are there. Complications are there. They get pregnant also. And all those things are there. They say, we are equal. And what is the fun of being equal? The man is working like donkey. You want to work like donkey? Just be like queen and enjoy in home. No, I will also suffer like you. And they also want to go in coal mine. They want to go everywhere, And this is all boosted by Western ideology. They say we are liberating women. So this cannot bring any happiness to anybody actually. They feel will become happy, but there is no happiness. And nobody will speak the truth also. That's another problem. They get cheated, beaten up, everything, but nobody will say anything. And when everybody agrees, then that becomes a truth. Although it's miserable, fallen, and everything. But when people say no, it's true, then even a good person cannot reestablish or change it. So that is glory of this Kali Yuga. Okay. So here all relations he is feeling that there are no strength is there in any relation. Like child protection and all that we see, Nowadays a father rapes daughter, brother is raping sister. So this much low the society has gone. So they are just close to animal civilization. Like Western countries, they say, this is my son, these are their sons, and these are our sons. So in one life, they marry 4 or 5 Matajis, and one Mataji has 4 or 5 husbands, and they have so many kids. The boy doesn't know who is my original father. And such a civilization is multiplied by so many things. So our Indian culture was such a thing that the girls, they never wanted to get contaminated by anybody. They prefer to burn themselves alive. If somebody is taking their, trying to enjoy with them, they used to, they never used to allow such person. So where is that culture, and where is current culture where every girl is trying to hunt every man, and every man is trying to hunt every girl, and they are together, live in relationship. That live-in relationship is what? You enjoy and don't get obliged. And they say that we are trying. What? This thing has to be tried, or what? So they are making such a fabric of civilization is become so weak. And people feel that everybody should be moral controlled. This cannot happen. You agitate everybody and then you say, they should be sense control. How can this happen? You show them all ads, advertisements, and there's so much bombardment is happening on every media and all that. And they expect that the boy should be like Ram or other. You create a Ravana culture and expect everybody should be sense control. Then it's impossible. So people are already agitated. You give them another more facility. So it's like, people are already like monkey and you give them wine. And after he drinks wine, you ask him that he should be like sage. Then how it can happen? It cannot happen. Only if you give God consciousness, then people will follow rules, regulations very systematically. But Kali Yuga is so powerful, even these things are coming in our civilization also. Our civilization, Vaishnava civilization also, these things are coming. And there is no surprise. In Western countries, when brahmacharis, 2 brahmacharis are together, then people doubt. Like we have brahmachari ashram, they will have many doubts on brahmachari ashram because that is their culture there. They feel 2 man, 2 woman. It is all combinations are there in that in that country, so they cannot trust this species can exist. So such a place we are in. So without God, there cannot be any relationship will be just empty actually. You cannot trust a friend as a friend. He will cheat you at the very needed required time. So then what is that friendship? And like that you get frustrated at every stage of your life. Then those people become mad and they take revenge by shooting people randomly without no good reason. Because they don't have value for their own existence. So certainly they will not value others people's existence. And they take such a and you can imagine you may not be wrong. Second person, somebody else comes and shoots you. Then what you'll cry or laugh? It's a very funny thing, In America, some Western countries are such a place, you cannot move in the night time freely outside. We are so fortunate in India, we can come 12 o'clock also to temple. But sometimes our devotees also got stabbed, in morning 6 o'clock in front of police commissioner's office. So this is a civilization we are in. We go for Harinam and we will come back safely every day. But after some days, we have to wear all those masks, all that armor and everything, and then go for Harinam as if we are going for fighting. So that time also will be not very far. And we went to this Gruvar on railway platform. We were doing Harinam. Immediately police came. Sachinandan Bhavan was there. They said you cannot do Harinam here because the full Kerala is filled with Christians. You cannot go. So that is the situation in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna. So we are short of time. Text number 5. Nimittanyarishthani kale tvan gute nunam lokadya dharma prakritim drushto vachanujam rupa. In course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthira, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother.
Such a pious king as Maharaj Yudhishthir at once became perturbed when there were such inhuman symptoms as greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy rampant in society. It appears from this statement that all the symptoms of degraded society were unknown to the people of the time, and it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advent of Kali Yuga or the age of quarrel.
So now this is common thing actually, which Maharaj Yudhishthira was feeling a bad omen. This is now general thing. Everywhere it's visible. Huh? Duryodhan? हाँ. At least वो दुर्योधन में था. Duryodhan was greedy. That's okay. But normal citizens also became greedy. That was made him surprise. So ठीक है. We appreciate that what surprised Yudhishthira Maharaj. Okay. Like we read Achangal past him. So we feel, what is there to get disturbed? By that scene, when we hear, we feel nothing. Nowadays, traveling in train is such a difficult thing. The husband and wife, they got booked 2 berths, but they want to sleep on 1 berth only. And they lost total shame. You take AC for peaceful, but these all things are there in that AC. Free you get. So what? You'll break your head, or what you'll do? And so Ajamil could melt by seeing one scene, but we are still going on even after seeing all those things. That doesn't make us superior. Like garage people, you see how they work. They anytime go below the car. You feel bad. They feel bad going below the car. They sometimes have a grease and they will just wipe it to their body. Why they do that? Because their clothes are so dirty that it doesn't make any difference actually. But when we have white or whatever clean clothes, we want to remain safe from that grease and We cannot go below the car like him spontaneously. So who will get disturbed? Those are pure. If somebody is already drainage, then this small disturbance will not make any difference. You know? So can you imagine what is Ajamila's purity is? He was so pure, that but just seeing this one sin, he got disturbed. So we have very long way. You know? Ajamila had to go to pluck flowers in some forest. In our temple, if you go for Harinam, you have good motive to see the Lord and have darshan and chant for him. But there are so many disturbances are around you. You know, sometimes boys they want to play mridanga, but they play mridanga for somebody else only. You know, so we have to be very careful. You know, Mm. Like when we used to go to Kartik Yatra, so there is a passage between. I hope this is not getting recorded. There is a passage between Narsimdev, Radha Madhav, Panchatattva, Narsimdev. There is a passage there, a blackout. You know, so that is not meant for brahmacharis. You take a lamp, with a lamp, you go to show the lamp to some miss or Lord, but you'll end up showing somebody else and you will be burnt, with the glances and all that. So you have to be very safe. So they are innocent people actually. The problem is with the current generation or at a time. So like that, it's so difficult nowadays to maintain purity. So we have taken a very difficult task in our hand, that I want to remain some sort or whatever. So this is not easy thing. We are just going against the flow. And how long you last? दम लग गया तो फिर बह जाएगा पिक्चर. You कितना 200 kilometers so you swam, but once you lost your breath, you will come back. So till our that last rites, we have to struggle with this unearths. That is our test. So if we are not develop higher test, then this will remain a whole struggle only, whole life. Initial struggling is okay, but that should not become a regular practice. So we should develop some holy taste and get out of this struggling zone today or tomorrow. ये तो अपना डाइवर्ट हो गया टाइम. नेक्स्ट श्रीदुष्टुर्वाच संप्रेषितो द्वारकायां जिष्णुबन्धुर्दृश्यया ज्ञातुं च पुण्यश्लोकस्य कृष्णश्च विष्टेष्टितम्. Maharaj Yudhishthira said to his younger brother Bhimsen, I sent Arjuna to Dwarka to meet his friends and to learn from the personality of Godhead Krishna of his program of work. Kata saptadhuna masa bhimasena tavanuja nyayati kasyava hetor naham vedadam anjasa. Since he departed, 7 months have passed, yet he has not returned. I do not know factually how things are going there. Api devarshina sakaloyam ayam upastitha yadatmano ankama kridam bhagavan utixishati. As he going to quit his earthly pastimes, as Devarshi Narada indicated, has that time already arrived?
As we have discussed many times, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, has many plenary expansions, and each and every one of them, although equally powerful, execute different functions. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are different statements by the Lord, and each of these statements is meant for different plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions. For example, Sri Krishna, the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Vaibhav 4.7. To deliver the faithful, to annihilate the miscreants, and also to establish the principles of occupational duty, I appear in every age. 4.8. If I should cease to work, then all humanity would be misdirected. I would also be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all sentient beings. 3.24. Whatever action a great man performs, common man will follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. 3.21. All the above statements by the Lord apply to different plenary portions of the Lord, namely his expansions such as Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Narayana. These are all he himself in different transcendental expansions. And still, the Lord as Sri Krishna functions in a different sphere of transcendental exchange with different grades of devotees. And yet, Lord Krishna, as appears once every 24 hours of Brahma's time, or after a lapse of eight, eight, eight solar years, 864 solar years in each and every universe. And all his transcendental pastimes are displayed in each and every universe in a routine spool. But in that routine spool, the functions of Lord Krishna, Lord Vasudeva, etc., are complex problems for the layman. There is no difference between the Lord's self and the Lord's transcendental body. The expansions execute different activities. When the Lord, however, appears in his person as Lord Sri Krishna, his other plenary portion also join in him by his inconceivable potency called Yoga Maya. And thus the Lord Krishna of Vrindavan is different from the Lord Krishna of Mathura or Lord Krishna of Dwarka. The Virat Rupa of Lord Krishna is also different from him by his inconceivable potency. The Virata Rupa exhibited on the battlefield of Kurukshetra is the material conception of his form. Therefore, it should be understood that when Lord Krishna was apparently killed by the bow and arrow of the hunter, the Lord left his so-called material body in the material world. The Lord is Kaivalya, and for him there is no difference between matter and spirit, because everything is created from him. Therefore, his quitting one sort of body or accepting another body does not mean that he is like the ordinary living being. All such activities are simultaneously one and different by his inconceivable potency. When Maharaj Yudhishthir was lamenting the possibility of his disappearance, it was just in pursuance of a custom of lamenting the disappearance of a great friend. But factually, the Lord never quits his transcendental body, as is misconceived by less intelligent persons. Such less intelligent persons have been condemned by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita, and they are known as the Mudhas. Thus, that the Lord left his body means that he left again his plenary portions in the respective dhamas, transcendental abodes, as he left his Virat Rupa in the material world.
So Lord Yudhishthira, Maharaj Yudhishthira is feeling absence of Krishna. So much so that he is, predicting that Lord might have disappeared. So that is the devotees, separation, which they are able to feel. Yudhishthira Maharaj is feeling. So for your reference, that how Vedic civilization has such a great wisdom. Now we have to say here 864 7 zeros. But in Vedic times, there was some word was there for that. So that is this. For 1 0, for 2 zeros, for 3 zeros, for 4 zeros, 5 zeros, 6 zeros, till 18 zeros. You can count. This is from upper side. And there is a count of lower side also. The lowest time period is Nimish. The Nimish is blinking of your eye. From that time, they can calculate till to Parardha, till Brahma's life. That much they can count. So who is modern? they are current. So we just got illusioned. So we are such a perfectly modern education has made us illusion that we lost faith in our own scriptures. Like one person was trying to sell his goat, you know. So one person made, he said, "Are you are carrying donkey?" Second person met him, he said, "Are you are carrying donkey?" Third person also said, "You are carrying donkey." Then he thought, "Really, I am having donkey," and he left that, like that. So when modern people say, "You people are, backward," "You people are backward," "You people are back," this is mythology, this is mythology, this is mythology, and that's what they are bombarded on us. So our best of intelligent people, they believe it as a mythology only. And the damage which they have done, more than the damage have done by our own people. Like in Maharashtra also, uh, this Agarkar and all those people, they were very pro favorite to Western civilization. So first they exploited scripture by taking scriptures to all the lower class, and then they become so liberal. They have liberated upper class also. You know, so there is now nobody is following anything. You know, so everybody has become practically living at their own whims, and such a civilization has no. It will be like, it will be jam. Nobody knows how to relate with each other. Previously one person used to remain as a servant in some house. So his generation after generation, people used to be there as a, employees. But current civilization is that people jump from one to other place. That till one lifetime they change many employers, and if they don't change employee within a certain time, then people feel that they have some problem in them. So that way, this came to people, this came to things, then this came to relations also. You know, so that's the blessing of current modern civilization. Yes.
Purport में लिखा है, when the Lord, however, appears in his person as Lord Shri Krishna, his other plenary portions also join in him by his inconceivable potency called Yog Maya, and thus the Lord Krishna of Vrindavan is different from the Lord Krishna of Mathura or the Lord Krishna of Dwarka. और ये जो चैप्टर 9 का 42nd वर्स का पर्पट है, वहां पे लिखा है कि sometimes less intelligent scholars make mistake and think that the Krishna of Vrindavan and that of battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities.
So you reconcile it.
Actually मैं आपको पूछ रहा हूँ.
Huh? So what is our focus? On which Krishna our focus?
वृंदावन कृष्णा.
Vrindavan Krishna.
Our focus. अभी द्वारका भी हो सकता है यहाँ पे.
Uh-huh.
Our is वृंदावन कृष्णा.
See, every living entity has a capacity, and Lord will fulfill that capacity. So this is best, better, and okay, good, better, and best. That is the thing. We know the best is Vrindavan Krishna, but that doesn't make any difference to Dwarka Krishna or Vasudeva Krishna. Only the final differences are there of the mellows, and that is individual's choice, and accordingly Lord will reciprocate with those particular devotees. So we should be happy with whatever relation they have, and we also can reciprocate particular Lord depending upon our qualification. You know. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the innermost, description about the highest rasa. So we are very fortunate indeed, because he has come to give which is never given before. Anarpitam charimcharat karunatarnakalo samarpitum unvata ujjwal ras. Ujjwal ras is highest ras. That is Maha Bhav of Madanakhya Bhav, that is Radharani's Bhav towards Krishna. So that intimate Bhav is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to us. So we are very fortunate, But that doesn't make any difference to any other expansion of Krishna. To those particular devotees, they'll be happy with their own rasa with Krishna. They will never feel that somebody is superior or somebody is inferior. Like Yashoda will not feel, why I'm not Gopi. She gets up at 12 o'clock and she goes for rasa dance in the midnight. Will Krishna enjoy it? No. She will be happy with her own rasa of Vatsalya. So much so that in Gopal Champa it is given that when Krishna is getting bathed on the next day, Mother Yashoda is bathing Krishna. So she finds some scratches on the body of Krishna. So she asks, what scratches are these? Then Krishna tells, oh mother, in forest there are some thorny bushes are there. So while walking, I got scratched. The scratches took place. Okay, she is bathing. And while bathing, she saw one scratch on the lip. Then she's wondering, okay, thorny bushes can scratch your body, but somebody is scratching your lip. And she was about to ask question, but Krishna she just forgets what has taken place. So these are the releasement in the spiritual world which Krishna is reciprocating with his devotees. So we are fortunate, we are reading everybody, but we should not judge anybody. That's the thing. We should. We know Dwarka Krishna, we know Vasudha Krishna, we know Vrindavan Krishna. So it's all for releasement for his particular devotees. And they and his devotees are enjoying. तो लोग क्या बोलते है ना, मियाँ बीबी राजी, तो क्या करे, तो वो और वो भगवान और उनके डिवोटीज वो मजे में है, तो हम बिल्डर होने का कुछ जरूरत नहीं है. वो ब्रह्मा भी बिल्डर हो गए, तो हम तो वी आर नथिंग एक्चुअली. So you should relish it, and technically you try to understand, but you understand later on that we cannot understand without having a proper attitude. Skeptical view is good, but not after certain time. Otherwise, there is no end actually. There are so much contradictions are there. Krishna proves he exists, and Krishna can prove he doesn't exist. And both will be supported by scriptures. Now we have to choose which one to, we want to get into it. And that Krishna has told also in Gita. The faith they want to develop in certain things, that only also I only give. Somebody wants to remain atheist, that also requires faith. And who gives that faith? Krishna only. Otherwise, without Krishna's mercy, even somebody cannot remain atheist. So that is the thing. So we can analyze and see those differences to appreciate. and relish. So there is nothing superior, nothing inferior for Lord. He is absolute. These are just his mellows which his devotees are relishing, and for their reason, for their satisfaction, he is exhibiting himself accordingly. Yes, bro. So this is a good way to say I don't know the answer. Anyway.
I think Rujit, what he's asking was that if I could understand it, that we also accept that Vrindavan Krishna and Dwarka Krishna, Mathura Krishna are different. Then why Prabhupada is condemning the scholars who say that Kurukshetra there is different Krishna and Vrindavan there is different Krishna?
Now, what
That's it.
context is there? It is there. We have to see. If he has some particular audience at mind in his mind, then he might have said. But in general, what he's saying, in 9 places he has sent something, and 1 place is something contradictory. Then we should give as a benefit of doubt. And the major time what he's saying, that we should take for our consideration.
One more doubt I had.
Yes.
In this, we read that Krishna, when the arrow pierced his feet, then Krishna left his so-called material body. So I didn't understand, Rohit. Like what I had heard was that Krishna went like that, but leaving some so-called material body. So, but Lord's body is never material, na? It's always spiritual. There is no difference between
Yes.
himself and his body.
Yes. So these things are there to. Somebody needs, an atheist also needs some data to relish and be happy. So Krishna has satisfied them also.
So he left some body here.
We have to read what is mentioned there. He left somebody. Anyway. All here is to Sri Krishna. All forms. So last line it is written. What is written? Sure. Actually, Krishna's disappearance, we should not relish. That is the instruction of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. In that book only he writes, somewhere he writes, means I remember. So how Lord left, that is not for our consideration, because that is not the point where our attraction, our attention should go. It's not for us. ठीक है. और भगवान है आए क्या गए क्या, बहुत मटेरियलिस्टिक लोगों को क्या फर्क? They have no.
Lord Krishna in Vrindavana, Mathura, Dwarka. Different in what perspective?
His moods are moods. His moods are mood is different. Like Dwarka, he cannot have flute. He cannot travel without shirt. He cannot walk without slippers. It's very constant situation there. He has all costly garments, and it's like so difficult. He has to live like a king always. Nobody can sit on his shoulder. Nobody can eat his remnants. He cannot sit on ground and eat on pattal or like that. In Dwarka, he will have, if he's coming for eating, means it's like a big, it's a big festival actually. And Lord is eating. And he alone will not sit. So many people will sit with him. And so many items will be cooked and so many things will be served in golden plate with golden bowl. You know, we just cannot imagine. Even ordinary president has such a opulence. You know, like here, president came. So there are 4 people to taste his food, what he is eating. You know, we take Krishna's remnants and he takes remnants of all these doctors. You know? So they have to cook. They have to taste. If they don't die, then they offer it to that president. You know, whatever. So like that, you know, if ordinary king has such a opulence, you know, just to visit here, they have to spend crores. You know, like from Delhi to here, one special flight has to be arranged, and there should be no barrier on the road. The whole system, his road is controlled by police staff and all that, and then king is coming. Or 26 January, we see how much money they spend on this parade. You know, our Rath Yatra also expenditure is less of Jagannath Puri, but this 26 January, how much they're spending for an ordinary king? So that kind of treatment is in Dwarka. In Vrindavan, nothing. He has cows in front, he is behind. Mother Yashoda 10 times, she is coming in, going out. She is telling Krishna, Are, you forgot this, you forgot that. Like that, she goes 10 times inside home, again comes out before Krishna reaches till the outskirts of Vrindavan. Till that time she is coming, going, coming, going. And and the forest animals are they're waiting for Krishna. So I'll just take this series with when Krishna sleeps, all his friends, early in the morning they get up and they are in front of the house of Nanda Maharaj. And they make a ladder of their shoulders. And one boy is watching from the top. He will be informing others that Krishna is taking turn. Now he's opening eyes. He got up, he took bath, and they enter inside. They also want to decorate Krishna. So Mother Yashoda is putting anklets to Krishna. So his friend also wants to put anklet. So Krishna feels very embarrassed that my friend is putting. So he tells, hey, you don't put your anklets. So Krishna is, with his flute, is eating on his head. So Mother Yashoda tells, no, let him put. What's the problem? So that devotee's name is Vishal. Okay? He's a Vishal. So these are the pastimes of Vrindavan. Madhu Mangal is invited to take prasad, but he is Brahmana, so they make him sit some other line, Brahmana's line. So he gets up from that line and he comes to near Nanda Maharaj. He tells, I want to sit here and eat. Nanda Maharaj says, Arey, for Brahmanas that line is there. Then he says, no, I don't know what all items you are eating. I want to eat what you guys are eating. Then he sits and eats with them. So these are like the past. And later on, Nanda Maharaj gives gifts to Brahmanas. So Madhu Mangal also gets gift. He got a gift. Then everybody is looking at them. Then Madhu Mangal says, Arey, don't look at my gift. It's nothing actually. I'm poor Brahmin, that's why I got. You guys are rich. You don't need such a gifts. So I need this gift. So like that, he makes a step. So this is happening in spiritual world. And what happens in material world? That better we don't discuss. So Dwaraka Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna, all Krishnas are relishable. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to enjoy that, the highest form of the Lord. Okay. So I don't know whether I answer the doubts which you people have, but I'm not learned in person, so please tolerate my inefficiencies.
That's why Prabhupada might have separated that. Some scholars take it Krishna of Vrindavan is different because Gandhi said, I think, that if Krishna did Ras Leela and all, I don't accept that God. So for distinguishing that part, like Krishna is same, but they separate that personality.
Actually, accepting Krishna is not possible for even moral people. They also get confused. They cannot bear this. For them is Vaikuntha, Vishnu is okay. He has a wife. He has one wife, one husband. They are following all rules, regulations. Rama is okay. But when it comes to Krishna, everything all fuses. Such a high voltage current comes now. Everybody is fused. To call that Krishna as a Lord, they feel it's like mind-boggling. What he does, there is no guarantee. He says, I'll do this, and he doesn't do that. And he is not supposed to do something, he does that. Then people get very much confused. So Krishna puts the morality also at stake. Then you will feel, wow, what kind of God is this? So Lord is very bewildering for.
So there are two extremes. One is Ras Leela, other is violence in the battlefield. So they separate that and they just accept that ideal behavior in Dwarka or whatever it is.
Okay.
That's why maybe Prabhupada is mentioning in that context.
Yeah.
And Gandhi was for non-violence also. And that Ras Leela, both are different.
So if they have decided to reject Krishna, then they will have all excuses. But if you want to accept Krishna, then you have to accept him with all his pastimes which he does. We'll read now. Text number 9. Yasman sampado rajam tara prana kulam praja asanna sapatna vijayo lokasyad anugrahan. From him only all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon us.
Material prosperity consists of a good wife, good home, sufficient land, good children, aristocratic family relations, victory over competitors, and by pious work, attainment of accommodations in the higher celestial planets were better facilities of material amenities. These facilities are earned not only by one's hard manual labor or by unfair means, but by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Prosperity earned by one's personal endeavor also depends on the mercy of the Lord. Personal labor must be there in addition to the Lord's benediction. But without the Lord's benediction, no one is successful simply by personal labor. The modernized man of Kali Yuga believes in personal endeavor and denies the benediction of the Supreme Lord. Even a great sannyasi of India delivers speeches in Chicago protesting the benedictions of the Supreme Lord. But as far as Vedic Shastras are concerned, as we find in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the ultimate sanction for all success rests in the hands of the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Yudhishthira admits this truth in his personal success, and it behoves one to follow in the footsteps of a great king and devotee of the Lord to make life a full success. If one could achieve success without the sanction of the Lord, then no medical practitioner would fail to cure a patient. Despite the most advanced treatment of a suffering patient by the most up-to-date medical practitioner, there is death, and even the most hopeless case, without medical treatment, a patient is cured astonishingly. Therefore, the conclusion is that God's sanction is the immediate cause for all happenings, good or bad. Any successful man should feel grateful to the Lord for all he has achieved.
So in Gita, it is mentioned about the 5 factors. In that one is destiny. Okay. So that is not, people are not aware in modern science. They don't know this. That's why they feel endeavor is everything. But in a class, all students are there. They all are endeavoring, but results are different. So that there is no understanding about that they have. Pashotpatan aranyas Pashotpatan nirvagra Divyan bhoman sadayikan Darunan shansito no buddhi mohanam. Just see, oh man, with a tiger's strength, how many miseries due to the celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily pains, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence.
Material advancement of civilization means advancement of the reactions of the threefold miseries due to celestial influence, earthly reactions, and bodily or mental pains. By the celestial influence of the stars, there are many calamities like excessive heat, cold, rain, or no rains, and the after effects are famine, disease, and epidemic. The aggregate result is the agony of the body and the mind. Man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries. They are all punishment from the superior energy of Maya under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, our constant touch with the Lord by devotional service can give us relief without our being disturbed in the discharge of our human duties. The Asuras, however, would not believe in the existence of God, make their own plans to counteract all these threefold miseries, and so they meet with failures every time. The Bhagavad Gita clearly states that the reactions of material energy is never to be conquered because of the binding effects of the three modes. They can simply be overcome by one who surrenders fully in devotion under the lotus feet of the Lord.
So there are 3 miseries: Adhidevik, Adhibhutik, Adhyatmik. So these 3 miseries can be crossed only by, there is one verse in Bhagavatam which tells that one can cross these 3 miseries by respect to superiors, having a friendly relation with equals, and having compassionate attitude towards the juniors. कौन सा वर्ष है वो? गुणाधिकान. So there you can open it. Gunadikan. So read the translation of that verse. It's in Trumara section. Translation.
Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world.
So now just read this. I will just add something in this translation. When he meets person more qualified than himself, he feels distressed. And when he feels somebody is equal to him, he makes enmity towards with him. And when he meets somebody who has less qualities, he feels rejoices. So such a man will be in what he will be in. He will be affected by. Okay. So this is positive side. If you do something other than that, then it will have other things, Next verse. Urvashi Bahu Mayam. Okay, I'll read this translation now. Shloka also will not. The left side of my body, my thighs, arms, and eyes are all quivering. Again, I am having heart palpitations due to fear. All this indicates undesirable happiness. So text number 12 to 14 are the bad omens only. Okay. So I'll just read the translations. Just see, oh Bhima, how the she jackal cries at the rising sun and vomits fire, and how the dog barks at me furiously. So jackal vomiting fire, we have never seen. Huh? So Kali Yuga jackals have, they don't have this ability also. O Brahmana, tiger amongst men, now useful animals like cows are passing on me on left side, and lower animals like asses are circumlating me. My horses appear to weep upon seeing me. Just see, this pigeon is like messenger of death. The shrieks of the owls and their rival crows make my heart tremble. It appears that they want to make a void of the whole universe. Just see how the smoke encircles the sky. It appears that the earth and mountains are throbbing. Just hear the cloudless thunder and see the bolts of the from the blue. What is blue? Sky. The wind blows violently, blasting dust everywhere and creating darkness. Clouds are raining everywhere with bloody disasters. So these all symptoms appear right now also. The rays of the suns are declining, and the stars appear to be fighting among themselves. Confused living entities appear to be ablaze and weeping. Rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mind are all perturbed. Butter no longer ignites fire. खाने को नहीं मिल रहा तो फायर को कहाँ से? What is this extraordinary time? What is going to happen? The cows do not suck the teats of cows, nor do the cows give milk. They are standing crying, tears in their eyes, and the bulls take no pleasure in the posturing grounds. So all this is in separation of Krishna. Even the animals are reciprocating. The deities seem to be crying in the temple, lamenting and perspiring. They seem about to leave. All the cities, villages, towns, gardens, mines, and hermitages are now devoid of beauty and bereft of all happiness. I do not know what sort of calamities are now awaiting us. I think that all these earthly disturbances indicate some greater loss to the good fortune of the world. The world was fortunate to have been marked with the footprints of the lotus feet of Krishna, of the Lord. The signs indicate that this will no longer be. So why Vrindavan is special? Because Krishna walks there with bare feet. And Krishna, Nanda Maharaj had now 9 lakh cows. And every cow has 4 feet, 4 legs. So such a amount of cows, they will not put their feet on the Krishna's footprints. They all used to honor that footprint. Okay. O Brahmanas, Shaunaka, while Maharaj Yudhishthir observing the inauspicious signs on the earth at that time, was thus thinking to himself, Arjuna came back from the city of Yatus, Dwarka. Okay, when he bowed at his feet, the king saw that his dejection was unprecedented. His head was down, the tears glided from his lotus eyes. Seeing Arjuna's pale due to heartfelt anxieties, the king, remembering the indications of sage Narada, questioned him in the midst of friends. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, "My dear brother, please tell me whether our friends and relatives such as Madhu, Bhoja, Dashra, Arha, Satvata, Andhaka, and the members of the family are all passing their days in happiness. Is my respectable grandfather Surshen in a happy mood? And are my maternal uncle Vasudev and his younger brothers are doing well? His 7 wives, headed by Devaki, are all sisters. Are they are they and their sons and daughters-in-law are happy? Okay, we'll take break now for 15 minutes.
Here, these many omens are given. Like, so means by this can easily be known like something is going to happen.
Yeah. So,
And sometimes suddenly Yudhishthir Maharaj is
actually, that separation has a hope of every chance, every thread that this may not be true. You know. So, although so many things are visible, but still he had some hope that this may not be true. You know? So, unless it doesn't come 100% from Arjuna, he has every hope that it may not be true. And hope against hope. Hmm. Okay, you take break. 4:35, huh? Sorry, 12:35.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So we'll begin with from this verse. One verse is from Bhagavatam 10.43.7, 10:43:70. So this is very, जिसके लिए खोला हुआ है 10:43:70, 17. क्या इसका ये नहीं क्या? हाँ, देवनागरी नहीं? इसका मीटर किसको आता है? आता है ना? फिर ट्राई इसको देखो मराठी में वो, मीटर, मीटर, हाँ बोलो. तो वो हमारे क्वेश्चन वाले ही डिवोटी नहीं है जिनके लिए मैं खोला ये वर्ष. हाँ, द्वारका कृष्ण, वसुदेव कृष्ण, विजय कृष्ण it is. Here Krishna is in 10 forms. हाँ, श्लोका नंबर 10:43:17. तो आने दो अपने. यस, चेंज कर. हो रहा है क्या? कहाँ हो रहा है? वो फॉन्ट इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा. किसके लैपटॉप है? ठीक है, वो भी पढ़ने आते तो पढ़ो. ले, मैं तो मेरा आज दिखाता हूँ, ये इसमें है, ये मेरे इसमें है. ये खोलो, मेरा वाला खोलो. हो गया क्या? बहुत छोटा है. कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, अभी 10 वर्ष ही बचे अपने. हाँ, कितने? 43 है ना, तो 10 ही है ना. 30 चल रहा है अपना. हाँ, हाँ. tomorrow's day will be very. हाँ, आज नहीं होगा. क्लास आज है क्या, ब्रह्मचर्य क्लास? हाँ, कल भी ब्रह्मचर्य क्लास है. हाँ, आज यहाँ पर ही पीवीआर में इतने कम लोग हैं. वो तो वानप्रस्थ वाले भी आने का बोल रहे थे. अरे इनके पापा है ना, अनंत जी प्रभु. उनको अंदर ले लो तुम. So we are with Dwarka Krishna and Vasudeva Krishna. Here Krishna has 10 mellows. Huh? So we chanted this verse. Now read the translation. पढ़ो, translation पढ़ो. स्नेहल पढ़ो. किधर है माइक?
Of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestler saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the man of Mathura as the best of maids, the woman as Cupid in person, the cowherd man as the relative, the impious rulers as a chastiser, his parents as their child, the king of the Bhojas as death, the unintelligent as the supreme Lord's universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity.
So Krishna is compared to Vaidurya jewel. Like we also have normal prism we see. So there are different colors appear. Red, violet, yellow, that all 7 colors. So like that, Krishna, the same Krishna, one Krishna appeared in 10 dresses for 10 different devotees according to their mellows. Sri Swami is quoting the following verse which explains the 10 attitudes towards Krishna described here. Rudro adbhutasya shrungaro hasyam viro dayatha bhayanakasya bhivassa shantasya prema bhaktika. So there are 10 different moods. Fury, pursued by wrestlers. Wonder, by gentlemen. Conjugal attraction, by the woman. Laughter, the cowards. Chivalry, the kings. Mercy, his parents. Terror, to Kamsa. Castliness, to unintelligent. Peaceful neutrality, to yogis. And loving devotion to the Vrishnis. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that people like wrestlers, Kamsa, and the empire is rulers perceive Krishna as a dangerous, angry, or threatening because they fail to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead. Actually, Lord Krishna is everyone's friend and well-wisher. But because we rebel against him, he chastises us, and thus we may perceive him as threatening. Krishna or God is actually merciful, and when he punishes us, that is also his mercy. Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur quotes the following Vedic statement: Raso vaisa rasam he evayam labdvan nadi bhavati. He himself is the rasa, the taste or mellow of particular relationship. And certainly one who achieves this rasa becomes anadi, filled with bliss. Srila Bhakti Thakur quotes a further verse to explain the word rasa. Vetita bhavana vartma yaschatmakara bharabhu hridhi sattvojjale padam swadate saraso matah. That which is beyond imagination, heavy with wonder, and relished in the heart, shining with goodness, such is known as rasa. Srila Goswami elaborately explained in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are 5 main rasas: neutrality, servitude, friendship, parental love, and conjugal love, and 7 secondary rasas: amazement, humor, chivalry, compassion, fury, fear, and dread. Thus, altogether there are 12 rasas, and the supreme object of them all is Sri Krishna himself. In other words, our love and affection are actually meant for Sri Krishna. Unfortunately, out of ignorance, we stubbornly try to squeeze happiness and love out of material relationships, which are not directly connected to Krishna, and thus life becomes a constant frustration. The solution is simple: surrender to Krishna, love Krishna's devotees, and be happy forever. So sometimes devotees, we love devotees, but devotees don't love us. Huh? So what we should do? So we should wait to purify ourselves. So we should not look love outside from apart from Lord and his devotees. Chalo, next verse. कहाँ थे हम? 28-29. Our Ugrasen, whose son was the mischievous Kamsa, and his younger brother still living, are Radhika and his son Kritavarma happy? Are Akrura, Jayanta, Gad, Sarana, and Shatrujit all are happy? How is Balram, the person of Godhead and the protector of devotees? Pardon?
Purport. Hastinapur, the capital of the Pandavas, was situated in somewhat near present New Delhi, and the kingdom of Ugrasen was situated in Mathura. While returning to Delhi from Dwaraka, Arjun must have visited the city of Mathura, and therefore the inquiry about the king of Mathura is valid. Among various names of the relatives, the name of Ram or Balram, the eldest brother of Lord Krishna, is added with the words the personality of Godhead, because the Lord Balram is the immediate expansion of Vishnu Tattva as Prakash Vigraha of Lord Krishna. The Supreme Lord, although one without a second, expand himself as many other living beings. The Vishnu Tattva living beings are expansions of the Supreme Lord, and all of them are qualitatively and quantitatively equal with the Lord. But expansion of the Jeev Shakti, the category of ordinary living beings, are not at all equal with the Lord. One who considers the Jeev Shakti and the Vishnu Tattva to be on an equal level is considered a condemned soul of the world. Sri Ram or Balram is the protector of the devotees of the Lord. Baldev acts as the spiritual master of all devotees, and by his causeless mercy, the fallen souls are delivered. Sri Baldev appeared as Sri Nityanand Prabhu during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, and the great Lord Nityanand Prabhu exhibited his causeless mercy by delivering a pair of extremely fallen souls, namely Jagai and Madai. Therefore, it is particularly mentioned herein that Balram is the protector of the devotees of the Lord, and by his divine grace only one can approach the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And thus Sri Balram is the mercy incarnation of the Lord, manifested as the spiritual master, the savior of the pure devotees.
So there is one nice book written by Rupa Goswami, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which describes all expansions and everything, incarnations and all. What is the relation? What is what? So that devotees can refer. प्रद्युन्मा सर्ववृष्णीनां सुखमास्ते महारथा गंभीरयो अनिरुद्धो वर्धते भगवान नुत. How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family, is he happy And is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, faring well? पढ़ो.
Pradyumna and Aniruddha are also expansions of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are also Vishnu Tattva. At Dwarika, Lord Vasudeva is engaged in his transcendental pastimes along with his plenary expansions, namely Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And therefore, each and every one of them can be addressed as the personality of Godhead, as it is mentioned in connection with the name Aniruddha.
सुशेषण चारुदेशनेश्च साम्बो जाम्बर्वथिसुता अन्ये च कार्ष्णिपर्वरा सपुत्र ऋषभादया. Are all the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna, such as Sushen, Charudeshna, Samba, the son of Jambavati, and Rishabh, along with their sons, all doing well? पढ़ो.
As already mentioned, the Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,100 into 10 is 1,61,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their father, and the whole aggregate was something near 116 lakh 10,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the Father of all living beings, who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwarika on this earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing Lord's position to ours, and it becomes simple truth as soon as we understand at least a particular calculation of Lord's transcendental, at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthira, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwarka, mentioned only the chieftains amongst them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members.
So I'll show you some names of Krishna's family members. हाँ ठीक है, उधर ही लेके जा रहा हूँ. कहाँ गए वो शेयरिंग वाला? ये है हरिवंश पुराण. हाँ क्या बोले? हाँ, दिस इज जन्मेजय. Janmejay, Parishit's son. Discussion between Janmejay and its author. It's not son.
He's asking author of this book.
Author Vyasdev.
This Puran.
Yes. अपने इधर प्रसाद है तो बोलते कहाँ से आया, किसने खाया? इसने हाँ, हम उस स्टॉपिन हुकिन और ये सब के पढ़ते हैं ऐसे ही. स्टॉन क्या है उनके नाम? वो है ना, 7 प्रिंसिपल्स 8 प्रिंसिपल्स. हाँ, कौन है वो? स्टीफन कोविन वगैरह. तो उनसे तो अच्छे हैं सब. ये पढ़ो जरा, दिख रहा किधर इधर कृष्णस फैमिली. पूर्ववंशिक परंपरा. कृष्ण वंश का श्री कृष्ण का अवतरण, श्री कृष्ण के अन्य भाई बहनों और कुटुंबी का वर्णन तथा काल यमन की उपस्थिति. ठीक है, ये याद रखो. किसना चैप्टर है? 35. हाँ किधर? हाँ वही 35 वाला एक याद रखो. नहीं नहीं, वो काहे क्यों मारेंगे? उनकी वाइफ जिंदा थी तो. वाइफ्स वेर अलाउड ना, ओनली मेल पीपल वेंट टू फाइट. ठीक है, वो जो भी है, ये मरा वो मरा वो ठीक है, हम जिंदा है इधर, है ना। अपना अपना पूरा हरिबोल हो गया है, उसका कुछ नहीं पड़ रहा। और दूसरों के वो तो इंटीमेट एसोसिएट्स, वो जिंदा रहे क्या मर गए। दे आर विद द लॉर्ड ओनली ना ऑलवेज। है ना, इधर सब है, यादव लोग सब वही है ना, ऐसा बोलते हैं लोग, हमको पता नहीं। इतना इतना भी, हम सब कृष्णा की अंश है। तो एक एक पढ़ो, तुम इधर पढ़ो, तुम्हें कुछ क्वेश्चन आज पूछो बाकी। ऐसा पूछना चाहिए जिससे हमारा फेथ बढ़े। पहले फेथ नहीं है और हम और फेथलेस होते। रुक्मी की पुत्री शुभांगी द्वारा उस है क्या, किधर है। ये चैप्टर, ठीक है, अभी 60 पे जाते हैं। भाई कैसे जाएंगे 60 पे। 444 448 ना, ठीक है।
ऊपर 4 टाइप करके उसके पास पहुंच जाएंगे।
हाँ,
ऊपर 4 टाइप करके उसके पास पहुंच जाएंगे, इस पेज के आसपास आ जाएंगे।
इधर ना ये आ गया, कुछ कर नहीं पा रहा मैं।
उसके आसपास आ जाएंगे।
और
448 उसके आसपास आ जाएंगे ना, उसके आप आया, ये आया
अभी कितना है।
423 आ गया।
अभी और कितना, 60 पे ऐड करता हूँ। हमारा भागवतम छोड़ के हम इसमें पढ़, हरिवंश पुराण स्टडी कर रहे हैं आज। ये भी कितना, 438। और अभी कितना,
472
478। आगे गई, ठीक है, पीछे जाता हूँ। यहाँ तो कुछ दिख नहीं रहा। और दूसरा कौन सा था वो चैप्टर, ठीक है, 35 जाते चैप्टर, उसका पेज नंबर कितना था। ये चैप्टर है 20 विंशोद है। ये षड्विंशो 26। ये है क्या, पंचत्रिश, षड्त्रिंशो, षड्त्रिंशो मानी 36। तो ऊपर का चैप्टर है। ये तो कृष्णा के भाई बहनी। ठीक है, आप जाके ढूंढ लो ये बुक, कृष्णा का फैमिली किधर, वो सब दिया है उसमें, हाँ। जो- चलो नेक्स्ट वर्स, हरि बोल। कौन सा चल रहा है अभी? Which verse is going on? Also, so Shrutadev, Uddhav, and others, Nanda, Sunanda, and others, other leaders of liberated souls who are constant companions of the Lord are protected by Lord Balram and Krishna. Are they all doing well in their respective functions? Do they, who are all eternally bound in friendship with us, remember our welfare? पढ़ो.
Perfect. The constant companions of Lord Krishna, such as Uddhav, are all liberated souls, and they descended along with Lord Krishna to this material world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. The Pandavas are also liberated souls who descended along with Lord Krishna to serve him in his transcendental pastimes on this earth. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord and his eternal associates who are liberated souls like the Lord come down on this earth at certain intervals. The Lord remembers them all, but his associates, all the liberated souls, forget due to their being Tatastha Shakti or marginal potency of the Lord. That is the difference between the Vishnu Tattva and Jeev Tattva. The Jeev Tattvas are infinitesimal potential particles of the Lord, and therefore they require the protection of the Lord at all times. And to the eternal servitors of the Lord is pleased to give all protection at all times. The liberated souls never therefore think themselves as free as the Lord or as powerful as the Lord, but they always seek the protection of the Lord in all circumstances, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. This dependence on the liberated soul of the liberated soul is the constitutional, for the liberated souls are like sparks of a fire that are able to exhibit the glow of fire along with the fire and not independently. Independently, the glow of the spark is extinguished, although the quality of fire or the glowing is there. Thus, those who have give up the protection of the Lord and become so-called lords themselves out of the spiritual ignorance come back again to this material world even after prolonged tapasya of the severest type. That is the verdict of the all Vedic literature.
So, in our experience, even ordinary president, like President of United States, when he comes to India, he doesn't use even the car of India. He will bring his own car. Before president comes, his car comes, his dogs come, his servants, everybody comes actually. So, ordinary human being, has so much entourage with him, and he only wants to get catered by them. Then what to speak about Supreme Personality Godhead? So when he comes, not only he comes, his Dham also comes, his associates come, his intimate devotees come. They all come along with him. So they cannot be compared as a conditioned living entities. Yes.
यहाँ लिखा है that नंदन सुनंदा के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, इसका मतलब वो वृंदावन होते हुए आए हैं.
नंद सुनंदा,
उनका हालचाल कैसा है? नंद सुनंद,
वो उनके नाम है यार.
वो तो वृंदावन में रहते हैं ना. नंद सुनंद.
See, there are so many devotees have so many names repetitive. And if they have gone from Vrindavan to Dwarka,
ये दोनों भाई है ना, नंद सुनंद.
so what is the problem?
मतलब वृंदावन गए थे, वो वृंदावन से आ रहे हैं मतलब ऐसा.
We are releasing, no?
हाँ जी.
We are releasing, na? We should release this all discuss.
ठीक है.
अभी कौन किधर से क्यों गए, कहाँ गए, ठीक है, जिसको जहां जाना है जाने. सब अपने हिसाब से थोड़ी चलने वाले, है ना? We should give them freedom. Our brain has this much capacity only, है ना? It cannot, we cannot think more. So with that much brain, we should use for constructive thing, है ना? Otherwise, we'll end up in confusion and we'll lose we're supposed to relish, we'll get confused. And then the whole taste will, it will become dry. So, अभी ये नंद सुनंद कौन है? अभी वो युधिष्ठिर महाराज को पता और अर्जुन को पता नंद सुनंद नंद बाबा है कि और कौन है? वही रहेंगे मोस्टली। उद्धव किसका लड़का था? हाँ, ठीक है। नंद के भाई के नाम? नंद, सुनंद, उपानंद. So he is Upanand's son, I think. Uddhav is whose son? Huh? Krishna's cousin. हाँ, नहीं, उद्धव किसका सन था? एक मिनट, इसमें है, हरिवंश पढ़ो आप लोग, आपको पूरा कृष्णा का फैमिली पता चलेगा. एंड इफ यू ड्रॉ द ग्राफ ना, you will get confused after some time. It's a very big graph. That all these names na, Dantavakra, these all are cousin brothers of Krishna. Shishupal, who married whom, then Kamsa's wife is daughter of Jarasandha's daughter. So that all things are clear. भगवान अपि गोविंदो ब्राह्मण्यो भक्तवत्सला कश्चित् पुरे सुधर्मायां सुखमास्ते सुहृद्व्रत. Is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri, surrounded by friends. पढ़ने बड़ा है टाइम, आधा घंटा है.
Here in this particular verse, the Lord is described as Bhagavan Govind Brahmanaya and Bhaktavatsal. He is the Bhagavan Swayam, or the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, full with all opulences, all power, all knowledge, all beauty, all fame, and all renunciation. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is Govind because he is the pleasure of the cows and the senses. Those who have purified their senses by the devotional service of the Lord can render unto him real service and thereby derive transcendental pleasure out of such purified senses. Only the impure conditioned living being cannot derive any pleasure from the senses, but being illusioned by false pleasure of the senses, he becomes servant of the senses. Therefore, we need his protection for our own interest. The Lord is the protector of the cows and the Brahmanical culture. A society devoid of cow protection and Brahmanical culture is not under the direct protection of the Lord, just as the prisoners in the jails are not under the protection of the king, but under the protection of a severe agent of the king. Without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahmanical qualities in human society, at least for a section of the member of society, no human civilization can prosper at any length. By Brahmanical culture, the development of the dormant qualities of goodness, namely truthfulness, equanimity, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, general knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and firm faith in the Vedic wisdom, one can become a Brahmana and thus see the Lord as he is. And after surpassing the Brahmanical perfection, one has to become a devotee of the Lord, so that his loving affection in the form of proprietor, master, friend, son, and the lover can be transcendently achieved. The stage of a devotee which attracts the transcendental affection of the Lord does not develop unless one has developed the qualities of a Brahmana as above mentioned. The Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not of false prestige. Those who are less than a Brahmana by qualification cannot establish any relation with the Lord, just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is wood, although there is a relation between wood and the earth. Since the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could not be any question of his welfare, and Maharaj Yudhishthir refrained from asking this question. He simply inquired about his residential place, Dwarkapuri, where pious men assemble. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and takes pleasure in their glorifying the supreme truth. Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious to know about the pious men and their pious acts in the city of Dwarka.
So Krishna is called as Satvatampati. He is the protector of all pious people. No, so pure people can only stay with the pure Lord. There cannot be no impurity, and no impious person can be there with the Lord. Mangalaaya cha lokanam shemaaya cha bhavaaya cha atseyadu kulobhyo vado anantamasakha pavan yadvahu dandaguptayam sapuryam yadav charchit archita kridanti paramanandam mahapaurushkaiva. The original personality of Godhead, the enjoyer, and the Balram, the primeval Lord Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty of the welfare, for the welfare, protection, and general progress of the entire universe. And the members of Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky. Pardon?
As we have discussed many times, the personality of Godhead Vishnu resides within each and every universe in two capacities, namely as the Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Shirodakshai Vishnu. The Shirodakshai Vishnu has his own planet on the northern top of the universe, and there is a great ocean of milk where the Lord resides on the bed of the Anant incarnation of Baldev. The Maharaj Yudhishthir has compared the Yadu dynasty to the ocean of milk and Sri Balram to the Anant where Lord Krishna resides. He has compared the citizens of Dwarka to the liberated inhabitants of the Vaikuntha Lokas, beyond the material sky. Further than we can see with our eyes and beyond the sevenfold coverings of the universe, there is a causal ocean in which all the universes are floating like footballs. And beyond the causal ocean, there is an unlimited span of spiritual sky, generally known as the effulgence of Brahman. Within this effulgence, there are innumerable spiritual planets, and they are known as the Vaikuntha planets. Each and every Vaikuntha planet is many, many times bigger than the biggest universe within the material world. And each of them, there are innumerable inhabitants who look exactly like Lord Vishnu. These inhabitants are known as Mahapauroshikas, or persons engaged in the service of the Lord. They are happy in those planets and without any kind of misery, and they live perpetually in full youthfulness, enjoying life in full bliss and knowledge without fear of birth, death, old age, or disease, and without the influence of Kal, eternal time. Maharaj Yudhishthir has compared these inhabitants of Dwaraka to the Mahapauroshikas of Vaikuntha Lokas because they are so happy with the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are many references to the Vaikuntha Lokas, and they are mentioned there as Madham, or the kingdom of the Lord.
So Yudhishthir Maharaj was not able to believe that Lord might have left them. So he is going on and on and on, glorifying the fortune of the residents of Dwarka, that how they are so fortunate, and their being with the Lord is not different than the residents of Shvetati planet entities. Like that he is comparing. Yatpada Shrishunama Mukhya Karmana. Okay. Simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens at Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of the thunderbolts.
Satyabhama, one of the principal queens of Lord Sri Krishna at Dwarka. After killing Narakasura, Lord Krishna visited the palace of Narakasura accompanied by Satyabhama. He went to Indraloka also with Satyabhama, and she was received by Shachi Devi, who introduced her to the mother of the demigods Aditi. Aditi was very much pleased with Satyabhama, and she blessed her with the benediction of permanent youth as long as Lord Krishna remained on the earth. Aditi also took her with her to show her the special prerogatives of the demigods in the heavenly planets. When Satyabhama saw the Parijata flower, she desired to have it in her palace at Dwaraka. After that, she came back to Dwaraka along with her husband and expressed her willingness to have the Parijata flower at her palace. Satyabhama's palace was especially bedecked with valuable jewels, and even in the hottest season of summer, the inside of the palace remained cool as if air conditioned. She decorated her palace with various flags, heralding the news of her great husband's presence there. Once, along with her husband, she met Draupadi, and she was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. Draupadi was expert in this affair because she kept 5 husbands, the Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. On receipt of Draupadi's instructions, she was very much pleased and offered her good wishes and returned to Dwarka. She was the daughter of Satrajit. After the departure of Lord Krishna, when Arjuna visited Dwaraka, all the queens, including Satyabhama and Rukmini, lamented for the Lord with great feeling. At the last stage of her life, she left for the forest to undergo severe penance. Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, and the Lord got it even by force from the demigods, as a common husband secures things to please his wife. As already explained, the Lord had very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administering the Lord all comforts, the Lord played the part of a faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from the heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods. But due to their being the Lord's faithful wives, uh, because of their becoming the Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwaraka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe.
So Satyabhama is very special. She can make Krishna fulfill her desires. That is her speciality. On the other hand, Rukmini is mildest personality. She is very mild. She cannot demand like this. When they were having grandchildren, that time Krishna tells Rukmini, you made a mistake by marrying me. Now also you can think of going back and marrying Shishupal. So as soon as she hears that, she is at once faints, and Krishna somehow holds her. And he says, there are some joking words requiring family life. But if this joke should have made with Satyabhama, then something else would have come. So Rukmini is very, very mild. She just got some few flowers from Narad Muni. And that was, seen by Satyabhama. And then she wanted not only flowers, but the tree only. And Krishna fulfilled that desire to her. So it is explained that Satyabhama is Radharani's expansion. And Chandravali's expansion is Rukmini. So they have different natures. Huh? Chandra? Sita. Translation. The great heroes of the Hindu dynasty, being protected by the arms of Lord Sri Krishna, always remained fearless in every respect, and therefore their feet tremble over the Sudharma assembly house, which the best demigods deserve, but which was taken away from them.
Those who are directly servitors of the Lord are protected by the Lord from all fearfulness, and they also enjoy the best of things, even if they are forcibly accumulated. The Lord is equal in behavior to all living beings, but he is partial to his pure devotees, being very affectionate towards them. The city of Dwarka was flourishing, being enriched with the best of things in the material world. The state assembly house is constructed according to the dignity of the particular state. In the heavenly planets, the state assembly house called Sudharma was deserving of the dignity of the best of the demigods. Such an assembly house is never meant for any state on the globe because the human being on the earth is unable to construct it. However, far a particular state may be, however far a particular state may be materially advanced, but during the time of Lord Krishna's presence on the earth, the members of the Yadu family forcibly brought the celestial assembly house to earth and placed it at Dwarka. They were able to use such force because they were certain of the indulgence and protection of the Supreme Lord Krishna. In other words, the Lord is provided with the best things in the universe by his pure devotees. Lord Krishna was provided with all kinds of comforts and facilities available within the universe by the members of the Yadu dynasty. And in return, such servitors of the Lord were protected and fearless. A forgetful, conditioned soul is fearful, but a liberated soul is never fearful. Just as a small child, completely dependent on the mercy of his father, is never fearful of anyone. Fearfulness is a sort of illusion for the living being when he is in slumber and forgetting his eternal relation with the Lord. Since the living being is never to die by his constitution, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, then what is the cause of fearfulness? A person may be fearful of a tiger in a dream, but another man who is awake by his side sees no tiger there. The tiger is a myth for both of them, namely the person dreaming and the person awake, because actually there is no tiger, but the man forgetful of his awakened life is fearful, whereas the man who has not forgotten his position is not at all fearful. Thus, the members of the Yadu dynasty were fully awake in their service to the Lord, and therefore there was no tiger for them to be afraid of at any time. Even if there were a real tiger, the Lord was there to protect them.
So there is fearlessness amongst people when they are connected to powerful. Like ordinary party workers, when they break signal or they do some nonsense, they are in jail. Suppose police catches them, they say, "Give us phone. We'll call that MLA or this person," and then they call and they get released. So such a shelter they have, and they are so confident, as if whole world is in their palms. So as long as the person is powerful and they are in connection, they are fearless. So we also, if re-establish our relation with Supreme Personality Godhead, we will be really fearless. If our relation is not revived, then we will be fearful at every step. Narayana Paraha Sarve, Na Kusashra Bibhyati. Those who are Narayan Parayan, they only develop such a fearlessness that they don't mind to go to hell or heaven wherever in the planetary system, because their mind is absorbed in Krishna's thought. Such a devotees become, they can enter in Bauri and make such a people devotees, because they were Narayan Parayan. So we should also try to become faithful and take shelter of Krishna. And we should not unnecessarily exercise that whether I am took shelter or not. whether Krishna is protecting me or not, because we don't know how much we have taken shelter. So we should understand our capacity, and we should not unnecessarily start, like Prahlad was thrown in hot oiling pan. So we cannot judge ourselves by chanting our bid and jumping in hot oil. So we'll just become puri actually. Nothing will happen. Or jumping from third floor, So we should not exercise such adventurous things. The great heroes of the Edu dynasty being protected by the arms of Lord Krishna always hoga na 39. My brother Arjun, please tell me whether your health is all right. You appear to have lost your body luster. Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you because of your long stay at Dwarka?
From all angles of vision, the Maharaj inquired from Arjuna about the welfare of Dwaraka. But he concluded at last that as long as Lord Sri Krishna himself was there, nothing inauspicious could happen. But at the same time, Arjuna appeared to be bereft of his bodily luster, and thus the king inquired of his personal welfare and asked so many vital questions.
So those who have close relation with particular person, they can understand even before that person says something to them. Like sometimes mother asks, by looking at son, they can make out he's sick or he's healthy. Then we wonder how they have understood, because they have a relation. So Yudhishthir Maharaj has seen Arjuna in all phases of their life, but he didn't saw Arjuna in such a state at this moment which he is in. So he obviously concluded that something has gone wrong. And what can be wrong for devotee? The wrong for devotee is separation from Krishna. So that was a fear which Yudhishthira Maharaj is guessing now. Has someone addressed you with unfriendly words or threatened you? Could you not give charity to one who has asked? Or could you not keep your promise to someone?
A Kshatriya or a rich man is sometimes visited by persons who are in need of money. When they are asked for a donation, it is the duty of the possessor of wealth to give in charity in consideration of the person, place, and time. If a Kshatriya or a rich man fails to comply with this obligation, he must be very sorry for this discrepancy. Similarly, one should not fail to keep his promise to give in charity. These discrepancies are sometimes causes of despondency, and thus failing, a person becomes subjected to criticism, which might also be the cause of Arjuna's plight.
Okay, this Kshatriyas used to give charity to the needy person. Vache Brahmanam Balam Gavruddha Rogini Striyam Sharanopasrutam Satvam Natyakshi Sharanaprada. You're always the protector of the deserving living beings, such as Brahmanas, children, cows, women, and diseased. Could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter?
The Brahmanas, who are always engaged in researching knowledge for the society's welfare work, both materially and spiritually, deserve the protection of the king in all respects. Similarly, the children of the state, the cow, the deceased person, the woman, and the old man specifically require the protection of the state or a Kshatriya king. If such living beings do not get protection by the Kshatriya or the royal order or by the state, it is certainly shameful for the Kshatriya or the state. If such things had actually happened to Arjuna, Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious to know about these discrepancies.
So they were such a noble kings that they will feel ashamed or morosed when they could not fulfill the duties mentioned here. So current kings don't feel any shame about these things. Rather, they encourage such things. Cows are getting slaughtered, women are, made work, and whole civilization is topsy-turvy. Still, they don't feel any shame about it. Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? Or have you not properly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior or equal to you?
It appears from this verse that during the time of the Pandavas, free contact between man and woman was allowed in certain conditions only. The higher caste men, namely the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, could accept a woman of the Vaishya or the Shudra community, but a man from the lower castes could not contact a woman of the higher caste. Even a Kshatriya could not contact a woman of the Brahmana caste. The wife of a Brahmana is considered one of the seven mothers, namely one's own mother, the wife of the spiritual master or teacher, the wife of a Brahmana, the wife of a king, the cow, the nurse, and the earth. Such contact between man and woman was known as Uttama and Adhama. Contact of a Brahmana with a Kshatriya woman is Uttama, but the contact of a Kshatriya with a Brahmana woman is Adhama, and therefore condemned. A woman approaching a man for contact should never be refused, but at the same time, the discretion as above mentioned may also be considered. Bhima was approached by Hidimbi from a community lower than the Shudras, and Yayati refused to marry the daughter of Shukracharya because of Shukracharya's being a Brahmana. Vyasadeva, a Brahmana, was called to beget Pandu and Dhritarashtra. Satyavati belonged to a family of fishermen, but Parashara, a great Brahmana, begot in her Vyasadev. So there are so many examples of contacts with women, but in all cases the contacts were not abominable, nor were the results of such contacts bad. Contact between man and woman is natural, but that also must be carried out under regulative principles so that social consecration may not be disturbed or unwanted worthless population be increased for the unrest of the world. It is abominable for a Kshatriya to be defeated by one who is inferior in strength or equal in strength. If one is defeated at all, he should be defeated by some superior power. Arjuna was defeated by Bhishma Dev, and Lord Krishna saved him from the danger. This was not an insult for Arjuna, because Bhishma Dev was far superior to Arjuna in all ways, namely age, respect, and strength. But Karna was equal to Arjuna, and therefore Arjuna was in crisis when fighting with Karna. It was felt by Arjuna, and therefore therefore Karna was killed even by crooked means. Such are the engagements of the Kshatriyas. And Maharaj Yudhishthir inquired from his brother whether anything undesirable happened on the way home from Dwarka.
So he's putting all his power of thoughts. Why Arjuna is morose? Except that Krishna is disappointed. That he didn't want it to say or believe in it. Arjuna's moroseness. So he is telling what Kshatriya, when Kshatriya becomes morose, those all situations is mentioning to Arjuna. Have you not taken care of old men, boys who deserve to dine with you? Have you left them and taken your meals alone? Have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is considered to be abominable?
It is the duty of a householder to feed first of all the children, the old members of the family, the Brahmanas, and the invalids. Besides that, an ideal householder is required to call for any unknown hungry man to come and dine before he himself goes to take his meals. He is required to call for such a hungry man thrice on the road. The neglect of this prescribed duty of a householder, especially in the matter of the old men and children, is unpardonable.
So earlier times, these things were free. Food, medicine, justice, knowledge, and what else? Huh? Clothes? Cloth नहीं. Medicine बोला ना. Okay. Fire, water also. These things were free. So there was no hotel previous times. Like people are traveling, so they will get invited by some other householder. And such a people are called as Atithi, who has no tithi, who appears and he doesn't make stay there. That they'll just eat and they will leave. Not that they will put their camp there to continue for staying more and more days. No. So that way there was no need of any hotel industry. A grahastha used to go out of his home before taking food. He will loudly shout, "Is there anybody hungry?" If our grahasthas do now this, then they will remain hungry. They will not get prasad for themselves. And if at all they cook at home, nowadays people are not cooking only. So whole civilization has gone to different direction. So these things will appear surprise, after some time, when people will read these things. That how now also we feel surprised that Yudhishthira Maharaj asking such a question. That is somebody remained hungry, you could not feed them. So that obligation nobody feels actually nowadays. Everybody feels I should get food, I finish. The world ends there. But real householder, he doesn't eat for himself, but he will always cook extra in his home so that he can feed some saintly people, some brahmacharis, some gays. Brahmacharis means those who come for madhukuri. Them they used to give. कश्चित् प्रेष्ठतमेनाथ हृदयेनात्म बन्धुना शून्योऽस्मि रहितो नित्यं मन्यस्यते अन्यथा नरुक्. Or is that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? Oh, my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected.
All the inquisitiveness of Maharaj Yudhishthir before about the world situation was already conjectured by Maharaj Yudhishthir on the basis of Lord Krishna's disappearance from the vision of the world. And this was now disclosed by him because of the acute dejection of Arjuna, which could not have been possible otherwise. So even though he was doubtful about it, he was obliged to inquire frankly from Arjuna on the basis of Sri Narada's indication. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna.
So Yudhishthira Maharaj saw Arjuna in such a sorrowful state, which he has not seen him when Draupadi got disrobed, or when they lost their kingdom, or when they were put into so many calamities. In all those calamities, they were as brave as Himalaya or like that. So this moroseness was unknown to Yudhishthira. And Arjuna cannot be made morose because he is a powerful man. So this moroseness in the heart of Arjuna He has appeared only because he lost Atma Bandhana, his most dear brother of his heart, his friend, that is Krishna. So this pain only result of Krishna's absence. Nothing else can make him so morose, you know. So that was a pain in the heart of Arjuna, who missed Krishna, you know. So we are also missing Krishna, you know. We are so far away from Lord. So हरे कृष्ण. ठीक है. शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. So to